Yesterday, the counting for the state election results began at 8 a.m. And by afternoon, it became clear that the BJP was set to secure victories in Rajasthan, Madhya Pradesh, and Chhattisgarh, effectively sweeping and establishing a strong presence in the Hindi heartland, a region crucial for the party in the upcoming Lok Sabha elections. The only state where its rival Congress managed to gain a foothold was Telangana, successfully preventing the Bharat Rashtra Samiti from achieving a hat-trick. In the evening, Prime Minister Narendra Modi addressed the nation and thanked the people for their unwavering support, adding that the results indicate that the people of India are firmly with the politics of good governance and development.
आज हर वंचित के मन में भावना है कि चुनाव वह खुद जीता है। आज हर किसान यही कहता है, ये चुनाव हर किसान जीता है। आज हर आदिवासी भाई बहन ये सोचकर खुश है कि उसने जिसे वोट दिया वो विजय उसकी अपनी है। आज हर फर्स्ट टाइम वोटर बड़े गर्व के साथ कह रहा है कि मेरा पहला वोट मेरे विजय का कारण बना है।
In this episode, we discuss the factors that led the BJP to sweep the Hindi heartland, the reasons the Congress could not secure a victory there but could in Telangana, and what this outcome signifies for the two parties going forward. Hi, I'm Shashank Bhargav, and you're listening to Three Things, the Indian Express news show. Now, if we were to look at the BJP's campaign in all these four states, one thing that is common between them is that it used PM Modi as the face of the party. When we spoke to Indian Express's deputy editor Liz Matthew, who reports on the BJP, she told us that his image and popularity significantly aided the party in these states.
Overall, the BJP's main highlight was Prime Minister Narendra Modi's popularity, which is still intact since 2014, which we have seen as transcending caste lines and class lines in different elections. But this time, in that, usually the voters differentiate between the Lok Sabha election and the state election. And the state election, usually they kind of vote on the basis of the local issues. But this time it looked like it was Modi's popularity, his guarantee kind of won the hearts more than the guarantees which was offered by the Congress in these states.
In fact, Indian Express's national opinions editor Vandita Mishra, who travelled across Madhya Pradesh before the polls, recalls how the central BJP took over the state BJP campaign.
So in Madhya Pradesh, Shivraj Singh Chauhan was virtually marginalized. There were so many examples of that marginalization. Like, from the election posters, which earlier would have had just Shivraj Singh Chauhan on them. Now he was one of 12 faces, and the biggest face was that of Modi. And, there was a yatra that he would do just before the election. This time there were 5 yatras taken out by different people, and Shivraj Singh being only one of them. So there were so many examples. I mean, everywhere, whether it was the candidates or it was the leaders, they put Modi at the center of the campaign. And there was a very visible effort to keep Shivraj Singh Chauhan on the side. Now, at the moment, for the BJP, it has paid off. So that is not to say that that's the model of politics that should be upheld for parties, that you centralize power and you do not give any room or power to your state leadership. That is not a model to be upheld. All that I'm saying is it is a model that for the moment is paying off for the BJP.
Now, while the Rajasthan results were expected, with people on the ground saying they're looking for change, Liz says it is the margin of victories in Madhya Pradesh and Chhattisgarh in particular that has come as a big surprise.
So in Chhattisgarh, where Bhupesh Baghel led the Congress and everybody thought that it would be a clear sweep for the Congress government, mainly because of its welfare schemes and the way Baghel used to run the government. But even the hardline Hindutva people were not at all upset with Baghel. And still, even the Congress could not retain power in Chhattisgarh.
it was Modi's popularity that worked there as well, apart from the corruption allegations that were leveled against the ruling Bhupesh Baghel government. Indian Express's Jayaprakash Naidu, who reports on the state for the paper, told us how the Prime Minister had done multiple rallies in the state.
So even though the BJP did not have a CM face this time, Amit Shah had openly said that please do not vote on the MLA candidate, but vote for Narendra Modi. He clearly said that. So I think that may have worked. Secondly, I think corruption plan, because apart from the ED cases also, like the coal levy case, the illegal liquor sale case, and then the Mahadev app case, there were also other allegations which were being made by the BJP, and no allegations have been proven yet. They are still, either the charge sheet has been filed or no FIR has been registered, but that corruption plan may have worked.
Along with Modi's popularity, Liz Matthew points out that the party's organizational strength and a focus on women voters is what has led the party to come to power in these states. In Chhattisgarh, it was the promise of 1,000 rupees per month to married women. In Madhya Pradesh, it was Shivraj Singh Chauhan promising 33% reservation for women in government jobs and the Ladli Behna scheme that aims to give women of poor households 1,250 rupees per month.
So there was, of course, a fear among them that, if Shivraj Singh Chauhan doesn't come back, we will stop getting this money. They did not believe that much in the Congress guarantees in Madhya Pradesh. I couldn't see that confidence which they were showing for the Mamaji schemes, the same in the Congress the Congress guarantees. But that the men were obviously very upset with the fact that the women are getting money. And a lot of men told me that, instead of giving this money to women just like that, he should be launching some schemes or helping us to install some business so that we can get a regular income from that. Also, the fact that BJP leaders, even before the election results came, after the election, the voting happened, the BJP leaders expressed, extreme confidence in Chhattisgarh, which we all thought that it is a false, confidence they are showing. But after the polling happened, they said that the scheme which Prime Minister Modi announced, that every woman, the married woman, will get 1,000 rupees per month, because it is a Modi guarantee and it has really gained traction among women. And the Congress was forced to kind of announce another one just ahead of the second phase of polling. So, the BJP's confidence was that, this will help.
In fact, she says that the number of women who voted in this election has gone up by 2% in Madhya Pradesh. But besides this, the other common thread in the BJP's campaign, of course, was a combined messaging of welfare politics and Hindutva, which Liz says they did not shy away from. Many BJP leaders during campaigning in Rajasthan, for example, told people that while so many victims have received compensation and government jobs, the victims of the Udaipur killings have not.
So basically, they were implying that, there is an appeasement happening under the Congress government, whereas the majority Hindu, citizens are kind of sidelined in the realm of the governance process under the Congress. So this definitely had traction in a state like Madhya Pradesh and Rajasthan, where the population, the 90 plus population is Hindus. So it certainly worked in favor of BJP.
And while they might not have been as prominent as some of the other promises, references to the Ram Temple and Kashi Mathura were not overlooked by the voters in the Hindi heartland.
And the law and order under Gehlot government, that also, in a way, it was given a communal color. Basically, the Hindus are not safe under any other government other than the BJP. That was the message echoing, in these speeches and in their campaign materials. Like I said, they subtly conveyed it to the people. I mean, I think for BJP, they don't any longer need that, the loud, high decibel campaign about their Hindutva identity, no matter how much the Congress leaders try to copy them and, try to be a team B of BJP in terms of the Hindutva plank. It always goes to the BJP. I mean, this kind of victory wouldn't have happened if BJP had completely kept aside the Hindutva and just, worked on the guarantees and all the development, such issues. I'm sure that emotive issues also played a key role. And it will remain also. It looks like BJP's the 2023 campaign, I'm talking about the campaign, will also be revolving around these 4 factors.
The 4 factors being the focus on women, Hindutva, welfare schemes, and of course, PM Modi. Now, although we are talking about the Prime Minister's popularity right now, just earlier this year, when the BJP lost Karnataka, we explained how the focus on local issues had helped Congress come to power in the state. So was Karnataka an exception? Did highlighting Modi not work for the party there? Well, Vandita says that Modi was popular even in Karnataka. But there was just too much anger against the then Basavaraj Bommai BJP government.
The Basavaraj Bommai government was widely perceived to be corrupt, widely perceived to be poor government. There was misgovernance, a comprehensive governance failure, one could say. One did not hear that kind of anger against the government, the Shivraj Singh Chauhan government in Madhya Pradesh. So, though the Modi appeal was there in Karnataka, but I think it came up against anger against the state government in Karnataka, and it did not come up against anger or great unpopularity of the state government in Madhya Pradesh. So it is possible in retrospect that the Modi appeal that hit a wall in Karnataka did not hit that wall in Madhya Pradesh. That's one. And if you look at it from the Congress's point of view, in Karnataka as well, the Congress seemed to run a very, very local campaign. It sort of highlighted the local issues, and it did the same in Madhya Pradesh. But I think, again, the crucial difference may be this, that when there was anger against the BJP government, the Congress was able to be the receptacle of the anti-BJP vote in Karnataka. In Madhya Pradesh, again, there was no great anger against the BJP government. So there, to win, the Congress needed to be doing much more than just going local as a sort of an escape strategy. Because its going local did not seem to be a thought out, unified kind of a strategy. It was actually in sort of almost seemed to speak of a lack of strategy, a lack of a binding strategy. I think the Congress there in Karnataka was just there, and that was enough. It received the anti-BJP vote. Here, because there was no great anti-BJP vote coming its way, it would have needed to do much more than it did. And that much more is simply that it needed a story and a narrative and a coherence to the campaign, which wasn't there.
To fully understand where the party went wrong, we also spoke to Indian Express's Chief of National Political Bureau, Manoj CG, who told us that the Congress went into this election with a set template.
A template which it had successfully experimented in Karnataka as well as Himachal Pradesh earlier this year and towards the end of last year, which was a guarantee model which is based on welfare promises, soaps for all sections of the society, from unemployed youth to women to young girls. So that was a template that they experimented in Himachal and Karnataka, and they replicated that model across all the 4 states, all the major 4 states. And leaders close to the Congress's war room had been telling us that the party was very hopeful in Madhya Pradesh as well as Chhattisgarh. And of course, they were very confident that they're clearly ahead in Telangana. Only in the case of Rajasthan, they were a little doubtful. So given the results which came out today, of course, the Congress is stunned. The result coming as it does just barely 4 months ahead of Lok Sabha elections.
He says that there are a number of things that led to the party's defeat in the Hindi heartland states. In Madhya Pradesh, Congress leaders now tell Manoj that while Shivraj Singh Chauhan has a mass appeal, leaders like Digvijay Singh and Kamal Nath do not.
They did not have much of an appeal outside the party. They were big Congress leaders. Apart from these two, the Congress did not have any other charismatic leader who could appeal across the state. And the template, as I told you, was more on, matching the promises or matching the schemes that the Shivraj Singh government had been implementing. So Ladli Behna Yojana, may you top it up with 500 rupees or 1,000 rupees. So it was like kind of a mirror image of the BJP schemes. So the party lacked imagination. All this now they're saying, with the benefit of hindsight, the party's campaign lacked imagination, energy, and leaders, caste leaders specifically, and, leaders of specific regions of Madhya Pradesh who could, rally the vote bank.
And he says that Chhattisgarh was even a bigger surprise for them, since from the party's point of view, the BJP's campaign was not very aggressive there.
It was kind of a very docile campaign. So that gave the Congress a false hope that the BJP is down and out and perhaps the Congress was easily winning. So at some point, I think a kind of complacency also crept in the Congress campaign, perhaps looking at the BJP campaign. There was no clear face for the BJP. Former Chief Minister, three-time Chief Minister Raman Singh did not even campaign outside his constituency. Perhaps the Congress was, done in by the complacency. In Rajasthan, there was no real surprise. The state has a tradition of voting out the incumbent. For the last 30 years, that has been the tradition. But unlike the previous Congress defeats, when the last time we remember, the Congress ended up getting only 21 seats. So this time, comparatively, the Congress, the performance was much better. Again, it was a centralized campaign. The campaign, revolving around Chief Minister Ashok Gehlot. There was huge anger among the Gujjar community for the party for having, sidelined Sachin Pilot because remember, he was the Congress president last time around when the party went into elections. So he was not made the chief minister. So that was one factor. Again, the Congress was hoping that since the BJP has not projected a leader, the former Chief Minister Vasundhara Raje was not in the forefront, unlike in the last elections. So there was a hope at some level that maybe the BJP campaign was in disarray. It would help the Congress, but it was not to be. Rajasthan sticking to its tradition.
But amongst the series of losses for the Grand Old Party, Telangana is an exception. Thanks to an aggressive campaign against the ruling BRS, the party managed to rise to power. And Manoj says that it was the Karnataka victory earlier this year that gave the party a fresh boost.
That victory kind of injected a sense of hope and confidence in the Telangana Congress. So they had to iron out some of those, housekeeping issues when it comes to the factionalism in the party, which they did. There was this huge clamor for removal of Revanth Reddy as the state Congress president. But the Congress High Command, showed faith in him. But at the same time, there was a clear message to him to, shed his, what they call autocratic ways and take everyone together. The other leaders were also asked to work in coordination with him. So that was the first stage. Then the party, both Mr. Revanth Reddy and the CLP leader, Mr. Vikramarka Bhatti, they took out simultaneous yatras across the country. There was a proper messaging in that sense, not just about the guarantees, but about how the welfare schemes of BRS government was not, benefiting in that sense. So the examples were given regarding similar schemes when the state was together, in the sense when it was a combined Andhra. So all these schemes were there in place during YSR's time and later Kiran Kumar Reddy's time. So there was this campaign by the Congress which tell the voters that the welfare schemes of the BRS government now are a much diluted version of those, so that the promises which are given by the Congress strikes a chord with the voters.
He says that the campaign was completely micromanaged by the Congress leadership. Plus, the party benefited from the lack of powerful regional leaders.
Where the High Command could do what it wanted in Telangana. There was no Ashok Gehlot, there was no Kamal Nath, there was no Baghel to resist. No, this should not be done like this should not be done like that. So it was far more easier for the Congress central leadership to micromanage the campaign and drum up this anti-incumbency sentiment. So things fell in place in Telangana compared to the other states.
Moreover, it appears that the BRS was also a bit too confident about returning to power and had claimed that it would win 100 to 105 seats in these elections. Indian Express's Rahul Pashrodi, who reports on Telangana, told us about it.
But KCR jumped the ship and he went ahead and he retained 90% of his candidates, in spite of the fact that there was anti-incumbency against most of the sitting MLAs. KCR's party had 105 of 119 MLAs. And most of them faced, corruption and other allegations on ground. But the party overlooked it and went ahead with campaigning based on KCR's own goodwill and image, the larger than life image that he holds in the state. Whereas Congress was really working on the ground. And when everybody thought they were just being confident and making the noise, they were actually working on the ground.
Now, the Congress had been hoping that a win in these state elections would enable it to score big in the Lok Sabha polls as well. But that prospect now looks bleak with the Hindi heartland out of its control.
where the main fight would be between Congress and the BJP. In many of the states where the regional parties are dominant, the situation is completely different. But in Madhya Pradesh, in Rajasthan, in Gujarat, in Himachal, in Haryana, it's a state fight between the BJP and the Congress. So whatever they do, they find a new strategy or an alternative strategy. But if they want to challenge the BJP, they will have to, revive itself in the heartland.
And Manoj says that this loss will also impact the larger opposition alliance, which had already been upset with the Congress. And this is because the party had decided to continue talks only after the state election results, thereby breaking their momentum.
So the activities of the India Alliance was completely, the momentum was broken. There were no activities in the last 2 months. So today when the Congress decided to convene a meeting of the India leaders on December 6th, there was indifference. The leaders, they said, would go, but the question they all were asking was that what was the point in now having a meeting? In fact, couple of leaders, JDU's KC Tyagi or Trinamool Congress leaders, they've openly said that, it is the Congress's defeat. It's not the India bloc's defeat. So the Congress, with the near wipeout in the Hindi heartland, it only has the tiny state of Himachal Pradesh under its belt now. So the Congress will be seen as a baggage by many of the regional parties. So it's a very difficult time for the Congress now to re-enter the seat-sharing negotiations, and the India bloc itself will find it difficult to, revive the momentum which it had managed to get after a couple of meetings and these big announcements and, naming the alliance India and all that.
He says the Congress will have to go back to the drawing board and assess what it can do in the next 4 months.
The Congress on its part needs a credible story. They cannot replicate this template of welfare schemes and, these promises, they call it guarantee or anything else. They will need to have a credible story to counter the Modi machine. Otherwise, it will be very difficult for the Congress.
Meanwhile, for the BJP, the immediate challenge will be picking chief ministers for the 3 states. And this will be challenging because, as mentioned earlier, only PM Modi was the face of the campaigns. And Liz says that right now nothing is certain, even for someone like Shivraj Singh Chauhan, who has held this position 4 times now.
So, of course, all the 3 states, there will be hectic meetings in the coming days, and BJP Parliamentary Board is meeting tonight itself after this Prime Minister Modi's victory rally in the party in the national capital. So, it is unlikely that they take a decision today itself, but obviously they will decide the observers for the legislative party meetings in the respective state, and within a day or 2, the decision will come. But, although I said that there's no guarantee for either Shivraj Singh Chauhan in Madhya Pradesh or, Vasundhara Raje Shinde in Rajasthan, it is a fact that the party leaders cannot completely sideline them or cannot keep them in the loop in the discussion or while a decision is being made. Because like a leader said today that, it is very easy to form a government, but the stability of the government, despite the numbers, also matters. So without their cooperation, it will be difficult for BJP leadership. So definitely there will be series of discussions, and we will see in a day or 2.
And picking a chief minister will also be a challenge for the Congress in Telangana, as it has a couple of options, including the state Congress president Revant Reddy, who Manoj says is a charismatic figure.
तेलंगाना के जनता जब जरूरत है तब सही तरीका से सही जवाब देने के लिए हमेशा हाजिर रहते। इस बार तेलंगाना में कांग्रेस सरकार बना देके यहाँ के जो शहीद हुए युवता उनके विचारधारा को आगे ले जाने के लिए हमको संपूर्ण हम इंस्पिरेशन लिए, वो हम जो भी वादा किए, जो शहीद होकर उन लोग जो देश के लिए क्या किए, वो पूरा आगे हम लेकर जाएंगे।
But he's not alone. The CLP leader, the Congress Legislative Party leader, Mallu Bhatti Vikramarka, he had led a 1,000-kilometer Padayatra earlier this year. He's a very strong contender. And so is former State Congress President Uttam Kumar Reddy. He's a Lok Sabha MP now. He's a 5-time MLA. Then there is former Deputy Chief Minister in combined Andhra, Damodar Reddy. So he belongs to Dalit background. So if the Congress plans to have a caste kind of arrangement, he is also a strong contender. So there are a couple of names, but everything will depend on the mood of the MLAs and the wishes of the High Command. which is always the case in the Congress party. They will always say it is the MLAs, the newly elected MLAs who will pick the next chief minister, but at the end of the day, it's the High Command which takes the call.
Now, finally talking about the road ahead, Vandita says that unlike what people thought in 2018, just after the Congress win in state elections, this time there is less unpredictability about what will happen.
Simply because all of us who've been going to the ground have been seeing in state after state election that voters make a distinction between the center and the state, and at the center they give the benefit of doubt to the BJP consistently. Now, in this election, in fact, what one is seeing is that perhaps at the state level also, they are allowing that benefit of doubt given to the central BJP to carry over into the state contest as well. So the overall trend of the fact that, Mr. Modi's popularity has not waned, and in fact it may have sustained over 2 terms now, I think carries on. So given where we are right now, it seems that Mr. Modi is definitely in an advantageous position right now to win 2024.
You were listening to 3 Things by The Indian Express. Today's show was written and produced by me, Shashank Bhargav, with help from Utsha Sermon, and was edited and mixed by Suresh Pawar. If you like the show, then do subscribe to us wherever you get your podcasts. You can also recommend the show to someone you think will like it, share it with a friend or someone in your family. It's the best way for people to get to know about us. You can also tweet us at Express Audio and write to us at podcast@indianexpress.com.